So this question can be asked. How can we design graphics in a technical document? Discuss. Okay, this question can be asked. Yeah, theoretical question only. So yeah, actually graphics add critical information to your text. So actually when you use the graphics in a technical document, that will be just the analysis of the things, isn't it? So that's a critical information you get. So to help your reader interpret graphics quickly and easily, you should keep graphics simple and neat. So if you think that your readers should read the graphics and interpret the graphics very quickly and easily, then you have to make the graphics very simple and neat. The first point. Next point is integrate your graphics with the text. And there must be that is your graphics should be combined with the text. Integrate graphics with the text. Another is give credit for borrowed graphics. If you have borrowed some graphics from certain source, then you have to give credit to the source. You must mention the source from which you have borrowed the graphics, and then you have use color effectively. So that is because if you use color there, then that will draw the attention of the readers. So the details are given here. So let's see. The first point is keep graphics neat and simple. And I have highlighted some important points. A neat, clean graphic is easy to read and interpret. So if the graphic is clear, if the graphic is neat and clean, then it becomes very easy for the reader to read and understand and interpret. So leave enough white space so that the graphic looks uncluttered, and make graphics large enough so that the reader can see all parts clearly. That is that is some of the document. What you find, the graphics are hazy, isn't it? Things are not clear there, right? All the things are very cluttered because of the lack of space. So don't do that. That is leave white space, that is blank space, and make the graphics very large so that that is the reader can see all the parts and then can understand easily. So keep graphic neat and simple. So these are the things you have to write. That is in your answer. So you can use the highlighted points. Okay. Using two uncluttered simple graphics to illustrate two concepts is better than using one cluttered graphic to illustrate too many concepts. Suppose you are going to clarify two concepts by using the graphics, right? And for two concepts you use two graphics, simple graphics. But in place of this, if you use only one graphic to clarify those two concepts, then that becomes very good, isn't it, for the readers to understand. And that is good there in technical writing. Okay. Then another is integrate graphics with text. See, so refer to graphic when you think your reader will look at it for the first time. So if you think that previously, if you think that your readers have not seen this kind of graphic previously, or your reader will look at it for the first time, then what you have to do? So here, see, call your readers attention to figures or tables by incorporating references into your text. So there you can use figures also, you can use tables also, and using parentheses. You can also use parentheses. That is, parentheses means small brackets, or creating a standalone sentence as follows. So here, whatever figures or tables you use, you have to integrate graphics with the text. So this is given here. How can we integrate graphics with the text? For example, here, table 1 or figure 1, you write. So what? Yes. Yes. Anybody? So okay. So integrate graphics with text means, so you have used the graphics, but what does the graphic indicate? What is the graphic about? You have used tables, you have used figures, but what are those tables about? What are those figures about? What do they talk about? Isn't it? So you have to write in sentence. So this is called integration of graphics with text. Isn't it? That is, here, for example, what is given? Table 1 shows the amount of rainfall in Idaho over the past 3 years. Or figure 1, if you have used figure, then figure 1 shows the amount of rainfall in Idaho over the past 3 years. So this is the way you have to write, isn't it? So this is called integration of graphics with the text. What is the, what is, that, figure about? What is the table about? You must mention in sentence. You must write the text. This is called integration of graphics with text. Okay, then here you have verbal tables. Verbal tables use words instead of numbers, and the information is given in rows and columns. So for verbal table, the example is given below, isn't it? Uh, I'll show you. That is verbal table. In verbal table, what we use words. We don't use number, isn't it? Instead of numbers, we use only words, isn't it? So below there is the example of verbal table. Let me show you first, then it will be clear to you. Verbal table. Okay, see, this type of table is verbal table, isn't it? So this is verbal table. Here disease, and then diet. Okay, for that is heart disease, stroke, that is diet, high in saturated fat, high blood pressure, high in salt, isn't it? Salt, high in salt. So due to high in salt, there is high blood pressure, isn't it? So this is called verbal table, using words only instead of using numbers. Okay, so here verbal tables use words instead of numbers, and the information is given in rows and columns. So just like that I've shown you. Then another is place each graphic in a convenient place for the reader to see. Now, so on a page, right? On a page where to put in a graphic and where the readers can see easily, you have to decide this. So for graphics used in reports, explain the significance of the graphic in the report as you include the graphic. So in the report, when you use graphics, then it. So what is the significance? What is the importance of graphic? That also you have to introduce. That also you have to mention. Explain the significance of the graphic in the report as you introduce the graphic. So especially in a report, when you use any figure, when you use any table, so what does the table indicate? What does the figure show? So you have to write the importance of that very particular table, particular that is figure in brief. You have to talk about the importance in brief. You have to write about the importance of that figure or table in brief. Then here, not discuss every part of the graphic, but do point out what is important for the reader to know, isn't it? So while writing about the importance of that particular graphic in the report, so don't discuss every part of the graphic, right? So but you must mention what is important for the reader to know, isn't it? So then you have provide a title for every graphic. Say without title, the readers will be in confusion. So whatever graphic you are going to use, whatever graphic you use there, that is give the title of that graphic. So here you have except for informal table, okay, and here table titles and figure titles are often centered below the figure. Now, so here you have to give the title for every graphic. So give title for every graphic. If you have used table, if you have used figure, then below the figure, isn't it? Below the figure or below the table, that is in the center, you have to give the title, isn't it? You make the figure, and then below the figure, what you do, you give the title of that figure. Okay, below the table, you give the title of that is table. So this you have to do. Then use titles that are specific to the readers. Use titles that are specific so the readers understand what they will learn from the graphic. So, use specific titles. I mean, see, very simple thing, that is selection of the title. Suppose you have a passage. That is another example I'm giving you. Suppose you have a passage and you are going to select the title of that passage, isn't it? Then you should select such a title that covers everything given in the text. Never select such a title that can also talk about other ideas which are not there in the text, isn't it? So that's why you have to select a specific title below the figure, below the table. That is, when you write the title, you write such a title that can talk about only the things given in the figure, given in the table. It should not go beyond the table or beyond the figure. So that's why the titles should be specific. Use the titles that are specific so that the readers can understand and learn from the graphic. Then you have, okay, place the word source below your figure, isn't it? That is, if you have borrowed certain table, certain figure from certain source, then below it you give the source below the figure. Again, come to that is verbal table. See, there is the source given, verbal table. Yes, see. So here, this is the verbal table, and what is the source given below this table? Source is given. So do you see source, raw, Amaral, nutrition, New York, medical press, 1992, 12, isn't it? It means 12 is the page number, isn't it? So this very table has been borrowed from this source. So this is called giving credit to the source. From whatever source you that is you directly quote the table or quote the figure. So below the table, below the figure, you must give the source. Isn't it? If you don't give credit to the source, then that will be plagiarism. Plagiarism means that is called academic theft, academic chori, academic theft. If you are writing a report and you are using tables and figures there, and you that is borrow those tables and figures from different sources, and you don't give credit to the source, you don't mention the source, it means that will be your own table, that will be your own figure. You have created the figure, you have created the table, but that will be academic theft, isn't it? So if you give the source, it means the readers will know that the writer has borrowed this very table from this particular source, isn't it? And so in and this way, that is, you can protect yourself from academic crime, isn't it? So it won't be academic crime then if you give the source, if you give you mention the source. Okay. Okay. Then you have use color effectively. Now next one is using color. So see, color often draws a reader's attention. I already told you. Color often draws a reader's attention before the reader pays attention to the words, right? Uh, a color is a powerful design tool that can be used too. Now, that is using color, whenever you use color, right? So that is, it brings the attention of it attracts the attention of the reader, and the reader will look at those that is colored parts, and things will be clear to the readers. Here also, what I have done, I have highlighted the things. It means you are paying attention to these points, to these line sentences, isn't it? Okay. So yeah, so color is a powerful design tool that can be used to. So for what we can use the color. So first one is indicate. In order to, color can be used to indicate, a document's organization, isn't it? So here, what is given? Same color for major headings. That is, in the technical document, whatever major headings you have used, for all the major headings, use same color. Don't change the color, isn't it? Right? So that is, it means that is you are focusing on those major headings. So that's why same color for major headings. So it indicates the ordering of the headings in the technical document. Emphasize emphasize or clarify an important point. That is, we can also use color to in order to put emphasis on an important point or in order to clarify important point. So here we can use color for a keyword, important word, that is key phrase, important phrase, key idea, important idea, or key part of a graphic. Isn't it? Key part of a graphic, that is important part of a graphic. So in order to put emphasis on these things, we can use the colors. Then another, we can also use color to support your text meaning. In order to support the meaning of the text, we can use color. So using certain colors consistently to convey specific information. Okay, so that is we should not abruptly, we should not suddenly change the color. Whatever colors we are using, that must be consistent. Then it gives a specific information to the readers. Actually, the readers will start associating color with the meaning. For example, that is for example, so what do we find? Red, isn't it? If you use red, isn't it? That is red. Red symbolizes danger, isn't it? Symbolizes danger. Red with danger. So generally, we people that is associate this color with danger, right? So that's why use particular color. Whatever color you are using, use particular color. Don't change the color abruptly, because it supports the meaning of the text. The readers can easily get at the meaning of the text, understand the meaning of the text. Then another is, so likewise, these points are also given. See, make your document attractive. In order to make the document attractive, we use color. Then another is avoid overusing color. See, overusing color. Don't make overuse of the color. So here, what is given? More than 3 or 4 colors can overwhelm a reader, and using one color other than black too often can be distracting. So if you use mix, yes, more than 3 or 4 colors. If you use that is more colors, then the readers will be confused. So that's why select that is 1 or 2 colors and you use. Okay. Apply color consistently to elements throughout the document. So consistently, that we have already done. Colors must be consistent. Remain sensitive to cultural identification with colors. Colors also give the introduction to different culture. See, for example, here international audiences associate colors differently. For example, Americans associate green with go, that is traffic light, isn't it? And red with danger, right? However, green is a holy color to a Muslim. That is, to a Muslim, green is a holy color. That is sacred color. And red is a sign of mourning to a South African, isn't it? So that is, I mean, in different cultures, colors have different importance, isn't it? So this is the example. So that's why remain sensitive to cultural identification with colors. Now, you suppose you have prepared a technical document, right? And that is your readers, that is you have written that document for a targeted group. Then you must know to which culture that group belongs, isn't it? And that is in that particular culture, how the colors play their role, isn't it? So they have that is how the colors play their role in that particular culture. You must have the knowledge of this, and then you use, isn't it? Only then your readers will be impressed and those readers will read your document, right? Then avoid unusual combination of colors. So combination of colors, that is must be effective. That also matters most. If you are not able to that is provide good combination of colors, then that also that also creates bad impact upon the audiences. So here some colors such as purple on a blue background. Now see, your background is blue, and there you use purple color. Then that is not the combination, good combination. Similarly, your background is, let's say, red, and there you use orange color, isn't it? So in this case, so this is not good combination of colors, right? Okay, so here the question is, right? What is the question here? How can, actually I'll write this question in your assignment. How can we design graphics in a technical document? How can we design graphics in a technical document? Discuss this question. How can we design graphics in a technical document? Discuss. So you have to write about these points in brief. Point number 1, keep graphics simple and neat. Point number 2, integrate graphics with text. Point number 3, give credit for borrowed graphics. And point number 4, use color effectively. Only these 4 points. And you have to briefly describe each point in brief. So whatever points are highlighted, by using those, and that is you can write in your own language. Is it clear? Yes. Did you understand? Ajay Kumar? Ajay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any question? I mean, by using those highlighted lines, you can complete the answer of this question. Yes? Can you do?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, constructing graphics. How can we construct graphics? How can we make table? How can we make figure? Isn't it? How can we make pie graph? How can we make bar graph? This is given here. So it's also very easy. So what is given here? You make those choices by considering which graphics are most appropriate for different audiences and purpose. Isn't it? So when you prepare technical document, and in a technical document, when you construct graphics, before this, you must know about your audiences and purpose of the document, isn't it? I mean, which graphics you have to know about it, that is which graphics are most appropriate for different audiences. You must have the knowledge of this. Then only then, that is if you use graphics for your audiences, for your readers, then that will be effective. So here example given, and you can read. Another, so the first one is constructing tables. How can we construct tables? So here, tables are used to present words or numbers that can be organized into categories of columns and rows, isn't it? So that is when we make in the table, we can use words or numbers. If we use words, then that becomes verbal table. That will be verbal table, isn't it? And that is in another, we can also use the numbers. That is non-verbal. When we use numbers, that is non-verbal table. Okay. So we can make tables in rows and columns. Rows, that is like this horizontal, and column vertical. Okay. So yeah, tables can be informal or formal. So 2 types of table: informal table, formal table. So what is this? So try to know. A verbal table, a verbal table is the variation of formal table. See, verbal table is the variation of formal table. So here the first one is informal table given. In informal table, what happens is a graphic that uses rows and columns drawn without rules. That's why informal. Isn't it? So here the rules of table are not followed here. So this is informal table, isn't it? We use here also we use rows and columns, but without rules. And in an informal table, information flows with the text. So here the example is given. See, this is the example of informal table, model of informal table, isn't it? So that is no rules are followed here. Just see the text is given, and then here fat loss this given, isn't it? Okay. This is informal without rules. And now see formal table. In formal, this is the example of formal table. See. So formal table is very clear, but in informal table, that is things are not so clear, right? So yeah, in formal table, what is here? That is a formal table is an arrangement of information in rows and columns with rules, lines drawn, isn't it? Right? Lines are drawn here. So this is the example of formal table. So here age clearly given, maximum heart rate, then athlete, average, isn't it? That is training rates. This is the training rates, right?
So in above table, if we make a line, then it will be formal table.
Formal table, but see like this, yes. I mean, if you use the rules, according to the rules, if you prepare it, then that will be informal, isn't it? Without rules, yeah, that is rows and columns drawn without rules. Rows and columns are drawn without rules. So here, see, so we haven't drawn the no lines here, isn't it? No, that is rows and no columns, isn't it? So here, columns given here, but it's not clear. We haven't drawn the lines. If you draw the lines, only then it will be clear. And if we write the information like this, C is maximum like this. If we write the information above, only then it will be formal. But here, what is given in place of this categorization? What is given here? Text, that is sentence is written, and then it is given. So without rules of table, so it is informal. Okay. And this is the example of formal table. So now again here what is given, that is if we have borrowed the table from certain source, then we have to give credit to the source. The word source appears with a footnoted bibliographic entry. Footnoted means that is additional information. So see, this table has also been borrowed. So here the source is given. That is, this is the source given, right? That is with bibliographic information. That is from which book, what is the page, isn't it? And when it was published. See, this is from what is given here. Alan Geshan and Susan Brzezinski. So these two are the writers. These two are the writers of Exercise and You. Isn't it? This is the title of the book. This is the title of the book. So this book has been written by these two writers. And then what is given here? Clear view. Then here you have ND up to here. This is the title. Then here ND and Mountain Press. ND Mountain Press is the name of publisher. Isn't it? Mountain Press is the name of publisher. Exercise and You is the name of the book. And then here Clear View ND, and this is the name of the place. Okay. Then 1994, this is the year of publication, and 72 is the page number. From page number 72 of this book, this table has been taken. Did you understand? So if you write the source, you have to write the source like this. This is called bibliographic entry. This is called bibliographic entry. So with bibliographic entry, you have to give the source. It means writer's name, then from which book you have taken the table. So name of the book, and then what is given? That is the name of the place, and then name of the publisher, year of publication, and then page number. Okay, so these things are mentioned. Okay. Then you have verbal table. We have already discussed verbal table. As already stated, a verbal table, also known as a chart, it is also called chart, similar to a formal table with its rows and columns, isn't it? The only difference is formal tables use numerals, verbal tables use words, but it is like formal table, isn't it? So that's why I've already told you verbal table is the variation of formal table. Only difference is in formal table we use numerals, number, but in verbal table we use words, isn't it? So your words are used. Okay. Then this is what constructing tables. This is the way we can construct tables. Now another is constructing graphs. There are different types of graph: bar graph, multiple bar graph. How can we construct graphs? So here 5 types of graphs are given. 5 types of graphs: bar graph, pictograph, Gantt chart, line graph, pie graph. These are the 5 types of graphs. So here very easy: bar graph. So the bar graph is a graph that uses a horizontal axis and a vertical axis. Horizontal, this is horizontal axis, and this one is vertical axis. In mathematics also, so this is called what? X-axis, and this one is Y-axis. So horizontal axis and vertical axis, right? Okay. Vertical axis to compare numerical data present in rectangular bars, isn't it? And so this is that is rectangular bars used here, rectangular bars. This is rectangular bar, rectangular, isn't it? So okay, so this is the way we prepare, that is you can say in a bar graph, right? Okay, right. So from this also things are crystal clear. Okay. Then another you see multiple bar graph, multiple bar graph. So here this is single bar graph, single given, isn't it? Now here in multiple bar graph, what do you find? So here this one, and then here this one, these two together, these two together, these two together. So multiple bar graph. So multiple bar graph, a bar graph with more than one bar, isn't it? So here in the previous one single bar, isn't it? But here more than one bar. Here two bars, two bars together. So bar graph, multiple bar graph, a bar graph with more than one bar for each measurement shown in figure 6.9. In 6.9 it is given. Okay. So here figure 2. This is the figure 2. What is the figure 2 about? So the text is given. Fat compared to muscle gain. Fat compared to muscle gain in pounds for 8 weeks. That is given here. Okay. Then another is line graph. Line graph, like this line graph. The line graph is similar to a bar graph in that it uses a horizontal axis and a vertical axis. So this line graph is also very similar to bar graph. So because it has also, that is x-axis, y-axis, horizontal axis and vertical axis to compare numerical data. And instead of bars, however, this graph uses a line. So here in line graph, that is bar is not used, rather line is used. And line that is talks about a trend, isn't it? So it shows the trend here. That is weeks, first week, second week, third week, fourth week, isn't it? So and here pounds. So what do you find here? In the first week, that is it's very high, and then second week, very low, 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 isn't it like this, right? Okay. Line graph, multiple line graph, isn't it? Multiple line graph. So so here in multiple line graph uses more than one line to compare data, right? And multiple lines are usually presented in different colors, or line schemes, dotted, hyphenated, or straight, in different colors. Here in multiple bar graph also different colors. Then multiple bar graph also different colors. So here in multiple line graph also you can use different colors. So here you can see one color and here another color. So here also what is given? This is about the same, that is fat muscle gained, and then here fat lost, isn't it? Muscle gained and fat lost. So this indicates. Then you have pictograph. Pictograph means by using picture. A pictograph is a special, see picture. So a pictograph is a special kind of bar graph that uses pictures instead of bars to represent data. Isn't it? Instead of bars, instead of lines, here what is used? Pictures. Pictures are used. That is to represent data. So here you can see here, that is servings, and here this indicates one serving. Average number of servings consumed in 1 month. Average number of serving consumed in 1 month. So you can see in week 1, how many? 1, 2, 3, and a little bit here also. Then in week 2, only 3. Then in week 3, let's say almost 4. And here in week 4, what you find? That is 4.5. Isn't it? This is the serving rate. So like the bar and line graphs, the pictograph also uses horizontal axis and vertical axis to present in a data. Okay. So that is when you write the answer, whatever question I give you, when you write the answer, you use only the highlighted lines, okay, in answer. That will be clear. Pie graph. So that this is also called pie chart. A pie graph is a circular graphic, that is circular, that shows how parts are related to the whole. See here, parts are related to the whole. So this is pie chart, isn't it? So carbohydrates 65%, and then fats 20%, and protein 15%, altogether 100%, isn't it? So this is the way. Then here that is exploding pie graph. Exploding pie graph means, say, an exploding pie graph separates or explodes one wedge from the circle, thus drawing attention to this piece of the pie. Drawing attention to this piece of the pie. So now see, wedge. Do you know wedge? Wedge. So see, this is called wedge. Here, this piece is called wedge. This piece is called wedge. So it's a kind of, a wedge is a kind of instrument that often that in a carpenters often use. The carpenter only use wedge, and that is it has this type of figure, wedge, isn't it? Okay. So wedge, right? So that is from this an exploding pie graph separates or explodes one wedge from the circle. Now this one wedge, it is out of the circle, you can say, isn't it? It is that is separated from the circle, right? And it gives some important information. So see, that is others are attached to the circle, but this very part is separated from the circle, isn't it? That means the writer is focusing on this very part. The writer is focusing on this part, and this part which is separated from the circle draws the attention of the that is the readers, isn't it? So types of carbohydrates consumed. Types of carbohydrates consumed. So here fruits, vegetable, here also carbohydrate. Whole grain, here also carbohydrate. White bread, here also carbohydrate. Cookie chips, here also carbohydrate. But in soft drinks, no carbohydrate, isn't it? So this is separated. So this is separated from the whole. It means, what does this indicate? It means all these contain carbohydrate. This one doesn't contain carbohydrate, isn't it? Okay. So this is called model of exploding pie graph. Okay. Okay. So, this much for today. Then you have constructing charts, diagrams, and figures, pictures. So I advise all of you to read this yourself. You can understand constructing chart. How can we construct chart? How can we construct diagram? How can we construct picture? Isn't it? So here it is about flow chart. This is given, okay, flow chart. And then we have organizational chart. It is easy to understand. Then there is Gantt chart, right? Gantt chart. This type of chart is called Gantt chart. Examples given here, isn't it? Then you have diagram. This is diagram. Then you have here this is photograph. We also use photograph, and when we write, when we prepare any technical document, we also use photograph, isn't it? This is what given. So will you study this yourself, or that is, shall I discuss in the next class? What is to be done? Tell me. On Anit Raj Bhandari,
Yes, sir.
what is to be done? Can you read these things yourself and understand, or should I explain in the next class?
You could explain, sir.
Okay. Then in the next class I'll do it. So
Yes,
here, up to here, your question. I think you will have two questions, isn't it? Up to here, you will have two questions that you will write in your assignment. That is, okay, constructing graphs, verbal table. Okay, constructing graphics. In constructing graphics, that is, let me explain the remaining part in another class. Then you will have question from this, because constructing graphics, that is covers everything given below. So today's assignment, only one question, that is, how can we how can we design graphics? How can we design graphics? Discuss. Okay. I'll write this question in the assignment and I'll post it. Okay, thank all of you.
thank you, sir.
Okay, we will meet in the next class.
असाइनमेंट चाहिँ फ्युज क्लासरुममा पोस्ट गरेर जाने हुन्छ
होइन उतातिर हो